Good evening, everyone. My name is Renee Parker, and I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I'm really excited about our team training tonight. So welcome to the call. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week so far, a wonderful month so far. Here we are on the 8th day of March, and it has been an exciting month. Many of us are participating in an Easter egg contest, so I hope you guys are having so much fun with that. And we have a Silver and 7 group going on right now. If you're not involved in that, then let us know on the team page. We want to get you involved in it. It has been an exciting month, all sorts of things going on, and we're going to kind of cover some things that are going on later on in the call. But first, I just want to tell you guys how proud I am of you. I feel like I've been more connected one-on-one with a lot of you recently than what I have been for a while, and I'm loving it. We have some leaders on this team that are really growing, and their teams are growing. Their personal growth has been unbelievable, and usually, almost always, after you see personal growth, then you see business growth. So get ready. We're getting ready to see some amazing things happen in 2016. So that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. We're going to kind of talk about some things that are a little bit basic. We're going back to the basics. And the reason why is because whenever I talk to people who may have even been in the business for almost the last 3 years or the last 2 years, and I'll talk to them about their list, and they'll say, well, I did a list, but I don't know where it's at. So we're going to talk about that, because if you don't have a list that you are working, then you're probably having some struggles in your business. So we're going to talk about the importance of having a list and what should be on that list and why it's important. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into that. We're going to screen share here. All right. So tonight, we are going to talk about thinking big and starting small. So the reason why we're going to talk about this is because sometimes I think that we think big and we think small in the moment. We want the big, we want the end result, we want to be emerald, we want to be sapphire, we want to be diamond, but our everyday lives, we're thinking small. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip that, and we're going to think big, but we're going to start small, okay? We're going to start with the small things, and what we know is that the sum of small efforts over time lead to success, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So the more people that you talk to, the more successful you're going to be. And I can tell you this, when someone gets frustrated because, let's say, someone decides to go to someone else and they purchase the products, or someone goes to someone else and they join the business, and they get really hung up on that, usually I know it's because they're probably not talking to enough people. So the more people that you're talking to and the more people you have in your pipeline, the less frustrated you get, because you know that you're not hanging your hopes on any one person. Remember that no one person will make you or break you in this business, and that is a fact. So if you remember that when you're out sharing Plexus with others and someone says no, or someone says, I don't ever want to hear about this again, or someone goes to someone else, if you know that not one person is ever going to make you or break you in this business, then you know that you kind of let it roll off your back and you just move on pretty quickly. Always think about the big picture, not the small one. And what I mean by that is just remember that if you're going to be in this business for years to come, every time that you plant a seed, even if they tell you no today, it does not mean no forever. Even if they purchase product from someone else, doesn't mean that someone else will be with Plexus forever. But if you've drawn your line in the sand and you are committed to this company and you're committed to making this work for you, you know that you're going to be in this for the long haul. Those people will end up coming back around. And it's so funny. I had someone share that story with me today, that someone came around. It wasn't no forever. It was no for now. And then they come back around, and now they're ready to get started. Remember, it is not the end of the world if your prospect does not see the potential that you do. Remember, you've already been on the products. You already know that our company is awesome and that they go above and beyond, but your prospect doesn't know that yet. and they have a million other things going on in their business or in their life right now. So what's important to you may not be as important to them yet. So it's okay. Timing is everything. So tonight we're going to talk about making a list of 100, 200, 300, and you can see I put ... The minimum that you should make a list of people that you know is 100. Now, I can guarantee you, if I go through my contact list on my cell phone, I probably have 100 people in my contact list, and most of you probably do too. If we looked at your Facebook friends list, you probably have more than 100 friends on Facebook. I know that I do, and I know that when I got started with Plexus, I probably only had 300 or 400 friends on Facebook, but I had more than 100. Every single one of those people needs to be written down. But I don't want you to only put down the people that are in your phone and only the people that are on Facebook. There are many other people that you may know, and we're going to talk about how you can figure out who to write on your list. Now, I don't want you to just take a piece of paper and write it down, okay? Don't just get a piece. I want you to go get a notebook, and I want you to write on your notebook, contact list, or whatever. But this notebook should solely be used for the purpose of your contacts. I want this to be almost like a journal for you to spill your brains out on the people that you know. The reason why this is important is because you're going to realize how many people you really do know. And I think it's later on in this presentation, but it's actually a fact that by the time someone turns 18 years old, there's at least 500 people that they know or that know them, or in a combination of that. So people who know your name and know who you are, 500 people. So anyone who's 18 years old or older should be able to come up with 500 people. But, we're talking, let's just get started with 100 so it's not overwhelming. Once you get to that 100, we're going to start working toward 200, 300, 400, and just have those names written down so you start thinking about who you can share it with. This is also going to help you get thinking about who can benefit from our products. As you write someone's name down, you're going to think, oh yeah, I remember that they suffer from blood sugar issues, or it seems like I remember that they had a back surgery, or that person was in a car accident one time. I wonder if they still suffer from pain from that. You're going to start thinking about things that our products could most likely benefit them from, or you may start thinking, this girl here just had a baby. I wonder if she would like to be a stay-at-home mom. Or this particular person, I know that they're struggling financially, and this could be everything to them if they could make an extra $200 or $300. So it's going to open up your eyes on who you can share with, and it keeps you on task. You know exactly who you can contact. So when we have a sale, when we have something going on, and you're like, I don't know who to contact, you have your list. You know who you can contact. All right? So your list of 100 could actually turn into thousands and thousands. Now, that doesn't mean that it would be your 100, but I want you guys to think about something. If you're on this call, you're most likely building a team, right? And if you're building a team, you're really wanting to do something with the business. You're wanting to grow a business. You may have big dreams to become a jewel with Plexus. And if so, you want to do this the smart way, not the hard way, right? When you're pushing a snowball uphill all by yourself, it's really hard. It wears you out. And sometimes you just want to give up and just let it go. But if you have more people helping you push that snowball up the hill, it gets easier and easier for every person that helps you. So think about this. What if you go silver and each of your team members has a list of 100? So you have a list of 100 and 3 people on your team have a list of 100. You now have 400 people that are potential people that you can share Plexus with, right? Well, imagine if you had a list of 200 and each of those 3 had a list of 200. Or you had a list of 300 and each of those 3 had a list of 300. You can see the potential on how your business could grow. It grows exponentially. Think about if you had a team of 10 and you had a list of 100 and each of those people on your team had a list of 100. There's 1,000 people that increases your odds on finding the cream of the crop, the people who are going to want to run the business. So that's why we really need to not only focus on our own list of 100, but we need to teach our team members as soon as they get started with the business that they want to make a list of at least 100. I'm saying 100 so it's not overwhelming, but I truly believe that once you start writing those names down, you're going to start thinking about, when you write down your Aunt Jane, you're going to think about your cousins who you might not have thought about, or your Aunt Jane goes to church with Bertha, and you could write down her name. So you're just going to start thinking about different people that you're going to be able to just start writing them down. Don't spend too much time on one prospect. Remember that as you start working your list, that timing is everything. So when you are reaching out to some of these people, it's not always going to happen on your time. You're planting a seed, so that way whenever the time is right for them, the time is right for them, okay? And when you plant seeds, you always have to water those seeds so that way they'll come to harvest, just like a farmer. That's what we are in this business. We are not hunters. We are farmers. We plant seeds, we water them, and we watch them grow, and then they come to harvest. And your business can and will continue to grow with or without that one prospect that you want so bad on your team, provided that you keep talking to more people and adding those people to your pipeline, and you're not fixating on that solitary magic prospect. We all have those dream team people, right? We all have those people that were like, if they would just do this, if they would just do this, I know that they could go to Diamond and I'd be set. I just know it. I know some of you have even said those things. Don't get your heart set on that one person, because it could be the right person, but they may have the wrong attitude, or it may not be the right timing for them, or they just may not be interested. And it's okay. It's okay. Just move on and keep sharing with more people. So again, by the time we reach the age of 18, we know at least 500 people by name, and they know us too. You may not realize that that is a fact. I have talked to people that are like, I don't even think I know 100 people. I am a hermit. I stay at home. I don't do anything. I go to work. I go to church. I come home. Guess who that sounds like? Me. That was me 3 years ago. I went to church. I went to work. I came home. I went to church, I went to work, I came home. And I worked in a department with 5 people, and we were literally tied to our desk. And when I say we were literally tied, I worked in customer service, and we had an earpiece that linked into the phone. And we could not leave from our desk, because when the phone rang, we had to answer it, and it rang all the time. That's what we did. So I could not leave my desk unless I turned my phone off and went to the bathroom or something, but it was a requirement for me to be at my desk. So I couldn't walk around this big bank and make friendships in other departments. I worked with the 5 people in my department. So I'm telling you this to say this. It's not who you know. It's who you know, who they know. And it's about having that list of 100, working through your list of 100, adding to that list every day, and teaching your team to do the same thing. So I want you to think about it, and we're going to talk about a memory jogger in a minute. Think about the people you know. Who did you used to go to school with? Who did you used to go to college with? Who are some of your ex-teachers, ex-neighbors, former coworkers, friends of the family, friends of your family's family, golfing friends, gym buddies? The list is endless. It really is endless. I guarantee you, you know more people than what you think. Now, in our success kit, we have the Frank's method. You can use Frank's method or the Frogs method. They're essentially the same. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. They're essentially the same idea. The Frogs method, if you want to use it to make it, if it's easier for you, you can use whichever one is easiest for you to remember. Friends and family, recreational contacts, occupational contacts, geographical contacts, and same name contacts. So what does this mean? You obviously know what friends and family mean. Recreation would be, are you in a sports league? Are your kids in sports leagues? What do you do for fun? If you like to antique, do you know people that work at antique shops? Or do you know people that have the same hobbies as you? My husband, he has a hobby of, he loves guns and knives, and he has a huge network of people who love the same thing. So think about those people. Occupational contacts, who have you worked with, or who do you work with? Geographical contacts is who do you know where you used to live or where you live now? Who's your neighbors? When you went to college, who lived in that area? Who lives in that area now? Where you grew up, where your grandparents live. So you think about geographic areas. So if I were to think about where my grandparents live, that's essentially where I grew up. I would imagine their house and who lives next door and who lives next door, which next door, and they're in the middle of the country. That doesn't even explain it. Who lives down the road, who lives down that dirt road, who lives down the other dirt road. That's how it would go for me. I would literally be imagining the houses on these roads and who lives there. And I may not be friends with them on Facebook, and I may not have contacted them or had any conversation with them in, I'm getting old, 15 years, but I could write down their name anyway. I'm spilling out my mind. It doesn't mean I'm going to contact them. I'm just spilling out my mind on paper so that way I will think of as many people as I can. So here's where most people fail. They will omit some acquaintances. So like I said, some people may think, well, I haven't talked to that person in 15 years. Why would I write down their name? I don't even know if they're on Facebook. I don't know where they're at. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not going to write down their name. Yes, write down their name for a few reasons. Write down their name anyway. If you think of it, it goes on the list, no matter what. Even if you haven't seen them in 30 years, add them anyway. So use a memory jogger. I simply went to Google and typed in memory jogger, and several different ones popped up, and this is just one that I used for demonstration. But you can see here that it's in different categories. You can see on the bottom it says community, bank tellers. Many people don't think about their bank tellers. That's usually somebody that you know if you use the same bank all the time. Car salesman. That just made me think right then that there's someone that I know that I'm actually friends with that is not on my list. I need to put his name on my list. Dentists, volunteer workers, doctors, grocery checkers. There you go. I just thought of someone else. Literally, I'm thinking of people as I'm going through this list. Members of church, mortgage people, people at the fitness club, travel agents. Okay, skip on down. To general, you can think about people who are baby boomers. So you think about people in that age demographic. Health conscious people. So you just start thinking about everybody that you know that's health conscious. Think about people who like to buy things. So maybe you have a friend who loves to shop and loves maybe name brand things, but is always saying, oh, I wish I could afford that. I wish I could buy a Louis Vuitton purse or something like that. Well, that may be what drives them. Not everyone's the same. It may not drive you, but it may drive someone else. So write down their name. This may be a solution for them. There's many Jules, there's a handful that I know that joined Plexus because they knew that there was a Bloomingdale's shopping spree. Isn't that crazy? They wanted a $5,000 shopping spree, and that is why that they joined. That's the reason. So don't discount any reason why some people may be interested in this opportunity. It may not be the reason why you were drawn to the opportunity, but it may be a reason why they would be drawn. So that's why you're going to write down all these different names, because there's a lot of different people out there. Everybody has different personalities. Everybody has different things that drives them, and you may have a solution for them. So again, an easy way to add people is your cell phone contact list, Facebook friends list. And when you go to one of your friends on Facebook, you can click on their name and go to their friends list. And one of the suggestions that Facebook has there, there's a button you can click that says friends you may know. So to add new people to your list, or to think about new people that you may know that you're not friends with currently, go to the people that you do know, look at their friends list, and then click that friends you may know list, and it'll bring up suggestions. And the suggestions are people that you have lots of mutual friends with. And I have added a lot of friends on Facebook that I did know by doing that, even though we weren't Facebook friends before. So that's an idea for you. So why is this important? This is big. There's 3 different reasons I'm going to cover. The first one is building a massive list psychologically helps you realize that you have a lot of people to contact. Okay, so imagine when you joined Plexus, If you had just 5 people on your list, if you thought, my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my best friend, and my old college roommate, and you put those 5 names on your list, and you contact one and they say no, well, 20% of your potential business is gone. That's pretty depressing, right? If you have 5 people and one says no, that's not any fun. You're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But if you have 500 people on your list and one says no, you still have 99.8% of your list to approach. So that one no isn't going to bother you so bad. Even 10 no's isn't going to bother you so bad because you know you have a big list of people that you're going to work through eventually. Second, the mind and the universe does have a funny way of bringing us in contact with people that we have not seen for a while when we add them to our list. How many of you, just think about this, how many of you have thought about somebody randomly? Just randomly, you haven't seen them in 20 years, 10 years, whatever, and you just randomly think about them, and then within a week or so, they show up in your life somewhere. Either it's at the mall, or maybe you're back home sometime and you go to the restaurant and they walk in the door, or maybe something pops up on Facebook and you're like, oh, that's strange. I was just thinking about him, or I was just thinking about her. That happens to me all the time. And it's very, very strange how that happens. But I'm not saying that it's some kind of weird thing that, like it's, I don't know, just weird that it happens. But what happens is that your senses are heightened to that person. So let's say if you hadn't thought about them, or maybe you didn't write their name down on the list and you weren't putting much thought into that person, you could walk right past them in a shopping mall and not recognize them. But if you write their name down, you're going to be more in tune to recognizing them. So that way, you might notice their hair, their smile, their eyes in a crowd where maybe you wouldn't have if you had not written their name down. Okay? And finally, when you come across someone who was previously a mutual contact of yours, and okay, I don't think I wrote this out right. When you come across someone who was previously a mutual contact of yours and a contact you haven't seen in a long time, you get a little jolt to the memory box and you hear a voice saying, ask about if they've seen John recently, or ask if they know what Rebecca is up to now. Okay, so when you see someone and you're like, oh yeah, I need to ask, like I might be visiting with my grandpa, and if I hadn't written someone's name down, I might not ask my grandpa about them. So while I'm visiting with him, I could say, hey, have you seen John lately? Or hey, have you seen Rebecca? What's she up to now? And they may have seen her last week, or they may not have. But even if they haven't heard from them in a while, guess what happens? That person's memory is now thinking about that mutual contact that you know. And weeks later, that person may spot them on Facebook, on someone's spelling error, on someone's wedding photos, or they may bump into them or something like that. And they may say, hey, you know what? Renee was asking about you the other day. And then both of you are maybe looking for each other. You may start seeking each other out on Facebook, or they may say, here's Renee's phone number. She was asking about you. Why don't you contact her? And eventually these steps will lead to you reconnecting with old acquaintances so you can build relationships with them. Relationships. This is the key. We talked about a list, and I've talked about contacting people and sharing Plexus with them. But really, I don't want you just going out and contacting everyone and sharing Plexus with them. I want you to build relationships with these people, okay? Building relationships is the key to success in this business. If you are not good at building relationships, you can learn if you make it a priority to you. And I can't see why anyone wouldn't want to make this a priority, because building relationships with people is so much fun. I mean, who doesn't want to have a bunch of friends, right? So I'm not suggesting that you take your list of 100, 200, 500, 1,000, whatever you make, and start spamming people's inboxes and telephoning them about Plexus. But what I am suggesting is that you try to be diligent about reconnecting with old friends and acquaintances and build better and stronger relationships with those who are willing. I'm also not suggesting that you go out and make BFFs with everyone, because that's not reality, right? I'm not saying that you should go out and make best friends with every single person that you've ever known in all of your life. But we can make friendships, and we can build our network, okay? Speaking of building our network, Robert Kiyosaki says the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for a job. Oh, the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for a job. So what am I teaching you tonight? I'm teaching you how to build a network. This is so important. Do it with a pure heart, and know that you're building your network for the friendships. And through that, some business will come. It will, because it's a big part of your life, but do it just to build friendships. And some of you may be saying, I don't have a lot of friends, I just know a lot of people. Well, my challenge to you would be, become a good friend, okay? A good friend is like a four-leaf clover. They're hard to find and lucky to have. So be that four-leaf clover. Think of yourself as the four-leaf clover that you can give to other people. So what are some things that you can do to be a good friend of others? So here's some different words that would explain a good friend. Be encouraging, accepting, supportive, caring, reassuring, sharing, buddy, faithful, helpful, welcoming, cooperative, thoughtful, sensitive, loving, kind, loyal, a pal, comforting, reliable, nice, playful, fun. Okay, so that gives you an idea of some things that you can do. How can you encourage people? How can you be diligent in reaching out to people and encouraging them? How can you be accepting of others and supportive? What can you share with people to be involved in their life? You guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but just recently I have really been enjoying sharing some of the crazy things in my life with other people. And honestly, I thought most of my friends would not be interested in some of the things that I'm interested in. Number one, chickens. I just always thought most people didn't really care about chickens. I shared a post on Facebook the other day about eggs. A chicken got sick and they had to put it down, and so they took out the eggs that were in its tract and showed it. It was so neat. I have never seen a post like go so viral. I mean, people were sharing it, people were commenting, people were liking. I don't know how many times it got shared. And then I shared another post the other day about boiled eggs. Instead of boiling them, steaming them. Again, a whole nother wave of people, and I just realized that I have a big network of people who have some similar interests as I do, and I've not been connecting with them. So I can share things on Facebook, but through that, I know who's interested in that, and I can send messages to people and say, hey, I noticed you liked my post about the eggs. Do you raise chickens? And get conversations going with people and build a relationship around a common interest. Okay, do you see where I'm going with that? Now, I homeschool, so you've probably seen tonight on Facebook, I shared a picture of a desk that my husband found at Goodwill. That is connecting with people who are like-minded with me. As people comment and like things like that, I have different networks that I can, or different things that I can contact them about. I can reach out and say, hey, I saw that you're homeschooling now. Do you use desk, or do you just homeschool around your kitchen table? Or, I can ask questions and build a relationship around that common interest. Some people like to go to Goodwill and yard sales. So as yard sale season's coming up, I will be going with my husband. He likes to junk more than me. But as I find good deals or whatever, I'll probably post them. And as people comment, what am I going to do? I'm going to reach out and say, do you like to junk too? Do you like to antique or yard sale? What's some of your finds? I love to see what other people are getting. So guess what? I'm going to build a relationship around that common interest, okay? So it can be anything. What are your common interests? Share that on Facebook and build your network around your interests. You're going to enjoy life a lot more whenever you're focused on your common interests. And you're going to build a big network of people who have those same common interests. So as they come into the business, you already have that relationship. They're already going to trust you. They're going to be more likely to follow what you are suggesting for them to do because they trust you, they know you, and you've been a good friend to them. Okay? So, what does this have to do with our business? Ooh, I'm going late tonight. I'm so sorry. How many friends have you met in Plexus? Okay? Probably a lot. If you're like me, I have some of the best friends, some people that I can't imagine going through life without now. 3 years ago, I did not know them. And if I hadn't said yes to Plexus, they would not be in my life today. So you know, based on your experience with Plexus, that if people come in as a customer or they join the business with you, you're going to make some friendships with them. So why not start the friendship on the front end instead of waiting until they join and then build the relationship with them afterward? Build that relationship first. When they come in the business, and they will eventually, most likely, some of them will, you're already going to have that friendship. And so when you're going to the beach or you're going to, Hawaii, or you're going to leaders retreat, or you're going to conventions, or whatever, you're going with your friends and it's fun. You want to do this business with people that you have fun with. So what happens if some of these people that you build relationships with, they do not ever become a customer or they never join the business? What happens then? So what? It's not a big deal. Who cares? You've been blessed with another friend, right? So you're not coming up empty-handed. You are actually gaining a friend, which is priceless to gain a friend. So do this. I swear if you do this, you're going to enjoy working your business even more, and it's going to come more natural to you. You're not going to feel the pressure of, prospecting should be really just going out and making friends, okay? Through that, the business will come up. It will come up naturally because you're passionate about that, and you will share it with them. You're going to know what's going on in their life. You're going to know if they have issues with health, or if they need a financial blessing, or if they're driven to just be successful in everything that they touch. So you're going to be able to share it with them naturally along the way, okay? So to recap, think big, start small. Okay, so you have that goal. You have that goal to build your business, and you are going to be working your business along the way. But as you're working your business and you're thinking about the big picture, enjoy the journey along the way while you work toward your destination. Just rekindle old friendships and acquaintances. Plexus will come up naturally, and you're going to be able to offer a solution to their needs. Always make it about them and not about you. It's going to happen on their time, not yours anyway. So make it about them, and make sure that you're caring for their needs and not your own. And remember that not one person will ever make you or break you in this business. Okay? I'm going to wrap up with just some last minute, the Easter egg hunt and some other announcements I want to make, okay? So those of you on this team, I know we may have a few others from other teams on tonight as well, but many of us are participating in this Easter egg contest. It is structured in such a way to support our compensation plan, because we should always be focusing on silver, bringing in 3 new ambassadors, but you're being rewarded for each new ambassador that you bring in. So you're being rewarded for the activity that will help you grow your business, okay? So for every new ambassador that you bring in with a welcome pack and who has their auto qualification order turned on, you will get an Easter egg. And then that Easter egg is associated with a gift. And I'm trying to announce every day. It may be every 2 or 3 days, just depending on what's going on. But those will be announced periodically, okay? And then once we have 5 people go silver with 3 new ambassadors that they personally sponsor, then that will unlock the big prize Easter egg. So collectively as a team, we need to have 5 people go silver, and then the big eggs will be unlocked, and every single person who goes silver will get a big egg with a big prize, okay? Upcoming team events. I don't have a flyer for one that we are planning in Thayer or Mammoth Spring, Thayer, Missouri, Mammoth Spring, Arkansas state line. That should be Friday, March the 11th, I believe. I need to nail down the details on that. so we don't have a flyer for it yet. But hopefully we're going to be able to do one on Friday night, March 11th. I have one coming up on Saturday, March 12th in Buffalo, Missouri. These are all shared on our team page. Missy Scheibe has one coming up in Higginsville on Tuesday, March 15th. And then I have 3 events back to back to back, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March 18th, 19th, and 20th in Sedalia, Chillicothe, and Knob Noster. The Knob Noster event is on a Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. And immediately following that event, we're going to be doing an ambassador training, fun activity. So it's going to be fun. So if you can come to those, be sure to come and invite your guests. And finally, I definitely want to give a shout out about the Dream On Plexus Convention coming up in June. If you have not registered for convention, you need to register. And I will tell you this with every ounce of belief in my body. People who show up at convention go up in this business. This is the most belief-building event ever. So how can you get there? You can look at airline tickets or drive. I know it's a ways for a lot of people. My husband and I are thinking about driving, but just to sightsee and have fun. But, as far as hotel expense, find 2 or 3 people on our team who would want to share the expense with you. Most people want to. The hotel cost isn't that much. I mean, they may be about $100 a night or a little bit less. So if you had 4 people share, you would be paying about $100, right? It is worth it. And there are ways with our convention contest to earn your registration fee back and also $300 travel voucher. So if you are serious about this business, get involved with that convention contest and you can essentially go and have most of your way paid for. Okay? You can do this. I believe in each and every one of you that you can do this. All right? So that is actually it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for logging on to the call tonight. I appreciate you guys. I wanted to share a little bit more, but since we went so long, I'm going to wrap up. And I'm so proud to be a part of this team. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Thank you guys again for logging on tonight, and go rock your business this week.